It's all turning to rubble. Another week has passed and despite assurances provided by the O'Farrell government, there is still no resolution. Last week we brought you the story of the Reed Construction Group, now edging even closer to financial collapse. Tonight we can confirm the government is now deadlocked with Reed over claims and counterclaims of monies owed for government building works carried out over the last 3 years. The row centres on a dispute over Reed's bills for variations to Building the Education Revolution projects and for additional costs to roads and infrastructure. While the political wrangling continues, forensic accountants are trying to track down what happened to almost $100 million that should have been paid to subcontractors down the line. Caro Meldrum-Hanna reports.
There's a big problem in New South Wales that's not going away.
They tell me they've got some serious problems with the state government not releasing any money to them. They say it's significant.
And with each and every passing week, the questions keep on stacking up.
I know they've been paid off the government, so I don't know where all the money's gone.
The government are looking after the big end of town. That's what it's all about.
But when it comes to construction company Reed, the latest building giant to hit the skids, has the government been looking after it too little or too much? For the past 4 weeks, the government has been locked in tense negotiations with Reed's executives, arguing over who owes who what.
I don't understand why they're even talking to them. I mean, they've broken the Corporations Act. They're not paying the subcontractors.
There's projects all over the place that are closed and not operating. There's money owed to people all over the place that hasn't been paid, obviously.
A significant fall from grace?
From where they were when we knew them, yes, absolutely. Huge.
Founded in 1979 and privately owned, the Reed Group was once a darling of Australia's construction industry. Just 5 months ago, Reed looked as if it was at the top of its game. A winning corporate sponsor for the Manly Sea Eagles, Reed appeared to be doing nothing but winning. And off the field,
They were awarded a huge amount of government work, and that was very hard for me to understand the amount of significance of government work that they've worked, that they currently got and what they've had of more recent times.
the influx of government work began 4 years ago, when the financial crisis hit. Like so many construction companies, Reed needed to diversify and do it quickly.
So we're well underway.
Reed started pitching for and winning massive government projects, receiving $400 million worth of Building the Education Revolution school projects under the then New South Wales Labor government. They were also given $27 million up front, and on top of that, handsome management fees. Unbelievably, 2 years later, there are hundreds of BER contractors and subcontractors scattered across the state, left unpaid by Reed for the work they performed in good faith. Now there's a new class of victims.
I said, I'm sorry, I just can't afford to pay that.
Here at Springwood train station at the base of the Blue Mountains west of Sydney are the latest contractors left out of pocket for government work, again under the management of Reed. This time for work on the roads.
We were doing work on the Great Western Highway for Reed. We stopped work about a month ago due to non-payments.
Tony Babalacci is more than $300,000 out of pocket. He says the money stopped coming from Reed several months ago.
But were you assured payment would be forthcoming?
Yes.
And was it?
No, obviously not.
The small person's getting pushed out.
But amidst all the immediate turmoil at the small end of town, the bigger and longer-term picture is starting to take shape.
I think something's got to go back along the tendering process and see what's going on there, because the experienced road builders should have been on that job. It's not the easiest job to do, and basically a novice comes in and gets it.
And they got it from the Labor government.
But you're being let down by someone higher up the food chain. It's not right. I don't know how you sleep at night something.
How does it feel to see them here now and they're offering a helping hand when These projects were awarded by that government.
It does seem strange that they're here. They're trying to push the Liberal government into doing something for a project they awarded, and they kept on funding Reed.
This has all happened under Barry O'Farrell's watch.
Will you acknowledge that this mess has all started under Labor? Labor programs, government work awarded to Reed, under your watch.
What we've got is a set of circumstances where we have contractors that are going out the back door.
That's now. We need to talk about the origins, though. The origins are very important here, because we wouldn't be here in this trouble if it wasn't for the start.
Well, no one knows that yet.
That's why we want to call an upper house inquiry.
Into yourselves?
Well, no, into the conduct of Reed, perhaps, and to see what went wrong.
Underneath all the marketing glitz, according to information received by 7:30, it's arguable that the Labor government should have known Reed was heading for trouble at least 3 years ago. It's your opinion as early as 2008, internally in Reed, there was chaos.
I think there was, and I think a lot of the staff thought that at the time too.
John Rawson is a management consultant based in Sydney's CBD. He was first engaged by Reed in 2000 and for 8 years conducted training seminars for executives like the one seen here. In 2007, Rawson says he watched Reed prepare to embark on a massive human resources hiring spree, all part of the company's audacious expansion plan. Come 2008, when the hiring frenzy began, long-term senior staff quickly grew concerned with the new direction Reed was taking.
They had projects in water, they had projects in building, they had road projects. I was there when they were thinking about expanding into mining and actually taking the first steps to expanding into mining. They added about 250 staff over 3 years. That's a huge amount of people to bring in.
Hiring so many people in such a short amount of time can only equal
Disaster.
a huge shift in culture.
Yes, absolutely.
By 2009, according to Rawson, the cracks were there to see. And if the New South Wales Government Procurement Department checked with some of Reed's clients, it would have found them.
The business had started to stretch and there were problems starting to happen, and yes, they probably would have found a few issues at that time. They certainly would have, let me say this, if they'd interviewed the employees, they would have definitely found the issues, period.
It seems that Reeds were the most popular, one to tender and win tenders on all these jobs.
Why? Why were they the popular one, the chosen one?
Well, I'm not too sure, but I'd like to think that it wasn't because they're the lowest price.
There are now mounting calls for the O'Farrell government to do what Labor never did and order a full inquiry into the procurement department and the building giants who oversaw it all. Amidst all of the confusion, what we do know is that Reed is now crying poor, claiming the government has failed to pay for $10 million worth of BER work and variations, and an untold amount more for work on its road and infrastructure projects. But is Reed a victim of the government or a victim of itself?
All I do know is that Reeds have invested in mining equipment in the mining industry. I've known that for some period of time.
To the tune of how much?
Oh, well, I'm led to believe it's around $90 million.
There are now allegations Reed has misappropriated $90 million of government money, meant for BER and road contracts, into its private mining ventures. The government's forensic accountants are still trying to decipher where the money went. Meanwhile, with staff currently leaving Reed in droves and murmurs the company is about to freeze wages, one thing is for sure: the government must act now if it wants to avoid a catastrophe.
Cara Meldrum Hannah reporting.